Gonna borrow you. And off we go. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and welcome to Just Cause 3. This is a game that I've been playing a lot of very recently, just in the time when I'm taking a break from the channel. I'm just kind of enjoying myself a little bit. Now, those who have been seeing a couple of tweets about it, a couple of friends of mine are not too happy with my tendency to break records that have been set. Now, this game does have a sort of friends leaderboard system, which is kind of what that's all about. So we've been having a little bit of I wouldn't say saltiness going on, but it's definitely not something that everybody's particularly a fan of. So I think one of the things that I've been doing is just wingsuiting around quite a lot, and that certainly caused a little bit of rivalry between people, as everyone's been trying to really get the hang of the wingsuit. And as you can see at the beginning of the video, I'm still not quite there yet in a lot of ways. So this is Just Cause 3, and this is basically the demolition sandbox that I guess you can say that you can do just about anything with. Mostly if you enjoy exploding things, then yeah, this game's got you covered. So, of course, this is the third in the franchise that started off with the original Just Cause many, many years ago. And, just gonna get clobbered by my own plane there. And I guess you could say this is the definitive edition of what this is supposed to be. So, I played a fair amount of Just Cause 2, and played that before the multiplayer mod became really popular. And it was quite a lot of fun, but it kind of had a bunch of rough edges. Namely, traveling around was a little bit tricky. But this, in Just Cause 3, the wingsuit seems to have fixed that quite nicely. Now, you of course can't fly as quickly as planes, but it seems to be the more exciting way of getting around the place, provided you don't crash into things every half hour or so. Or in some cases every 30 seconds or so. So, of course, there is the parachute, which was available in Just Cause 2, which was the main way of getting around, but now it's been changed somewhat, so you're a lot slower, and you seem to lose speed pretty much immediately when using it. So the wingsuit is kind of the new way of getting around, especially if you like traveling on your face a lot. There's some sounds of gunfire in the distance there, and there's a rock. There's a rock in the way. Okay, so one of the things that's actually in the game now is these sort of side missions that pop up from time to time. These sort of, they call them encounters, and they just sort of happen randomly at different times. So we can just go there. Let's just get in the vehicle. We're getting shot at. And immediately, the entire rebel or militia army is after us. But yeah, so these sort of randomly pop up from time to time. And it's up to you if you really want to do it or not. You can sort of ignore them if you really want to. Didn't mean to do that. They're not overly difficult missions. Let's just get off the road. I think that might be easier to get rid of the heat, although they are chasing us. So these are sort of reminiscent of the encounters that you used to go. Oh god! The encounters that you used to get in Red Dead Redemption, which is also another game that I have not finished yet, but it's a really, really nice game. And that's a wall. Right. They found us again. Let's get away from the trees. Yeah, we can travel on the train tracks. Nothing bad ever happens on train tracks. Oh god! Yeah, that's pretty bad. At large? Now they're just body shaming people. Rico's not large. He just has a lot of equipment that he has to carry around. So let's just get out of there, pretend that didn't happen. So yeah, they're the sort of encounters that you can complete. I don't know what you actually get for them. I guess you do get something for completing them, but I don't see any like huge penalty for failing them, so incidentally, the militia are probably the, I guess, least persistent police force in the world, and somehow I destroyed a jet. Don't know how that happens. That seems to happen quite frequently. I'll just be traveling around and then suddenly enemy vehicle destroyed, and I had nothing to do with that. I guess a jet flying past just saw a man in a wingsuit flying away and, I don't know, crashed into a mountain or something. Which, to be fair, is probably something I would do. So, the game is quite big, actually. If we just have a look at the map here, just keep zooming out. This is the big island, by the way. This is the island that I'm on. You start off here. Right, this is the small island over here. And then you eventually, and you can see I've not actually gone very far into the story yet. Just kind of not really bothered so much. And then you go over here, and eventually you get to this big island over here, which I've just decided I'm going to go to anyway, because you can. That's the thing, the game doesn't actually stop you. If you just want to go around liberating all the regions, regardless of the story, then you can do that. It's just that you have less equipment to do it, and it will be significantly more difficult. So you can choose to play this game on hard mode if you really, really want to. But you can just have a look at the view distance in this game. It's just incredible. Of course, not really giving it the best sort of view here by traveling along cliffs, but you kind of get the idea. Like, that entire mountain, you can go up to the top of that mountain if you really want to. There is absolutely nothing stopping you from going to any of these places. In fact, let's do that. Alright, well, I was going to use fast travel and try to get a jet, because that would have been the fastest way up the mountain. But I found this base that I liberated before and decided, well, I was going to make use of the stuff in it, so I found this helicopter which floats on water, which is definitely going to be very useful at the top of a mountain, of course. Now, I don't know what's up here. I've not actually been up here before, but I do see a jet flying past in enemy colours, so that's probably not a good sign. In fact, that does look like a control tower up there. In fact, that definitely looks like a control tower up there. That's one thing about this game, is that they have these ridiculous air bases, and I have a feeling I'm going to be shot down pretty much immediately going up past this. But that's not even the top of the mountain. No. That's near the top of the mountain. That's not actually the top of the mountain. The top of the mountain is on that side. So, oh god, that missed. So, yeah, they're firing nukes at us, which is probably a good sign to kind of stay away. But just look at that base, though. These runways extending out to the top of the mountain, just because. Alright, completely bored. Let's just wingsuit our way there. Bye-bye, helicopter! You go on to a better place. Meanwhile, I'm going up there. So, in general, wingsuits are kind of designed for going horizontally and sort of down. It's kind of like, well, yeah, it's basically gliding. So climbing a mountain with a wingsuit is probably not in your best interests, because you can fall a very, very long way down. In fact, the best way of climbing up these mountains is just to use the parachute. But this could possibly take forever. So, still climbing. And there we are, at the top of the world, with Rico sort of covered in snow now. I've only just noticed that. He's got snow all over him. How he's not freezing to death right now is kind of amazing. That does appear to be a goat over there. No, it's a deer. The hell are you eating up here? But I guess this is as good a time in it as any to kind of demonstrate one of the new features of Just Cause 3, which is the fact that you can tether things to other things. So, there's that. And then you can reel it in and release it. Where the hell did it go? Well, it's gone now. Peter is not going to be happy. But yeah, I actually thought that we'd be able to see more from up here, but it would appear that because of the snowfall at the moment, you actually kind of can't. Which is a bit of a shame. Can't actually see much from up here. But we can wingsuit our way down through the clouds. That is that base over there that we saw earlier. Not sure if you can really see it once we get through the clouds. So we'll just dive down a little bit. Now, I don't know if I really want to attack this place because of the nukes. It keeps firing nukes at me every time I go near it. But we could sort of demonstrate what this game is all about. We have infinite explosives that we can plant. And, oh god, it's coming. And we have our missiles, like that one. And now we're about to die. So, time to go. Oh god, we're almost dead. Oh, no, we are actually dead. So remember how I said it was much harder to get things done if you don't complete the missions? Yeah. That's pretty much what I meant. So this is actually a really difficult base to take over if you don't have the gear. Speaking of which, gear mod. So this is a sort of progression system that's actually in the game now. And when you unlock the gears, like they're actually called gears, from doing challenges, like races, wingsuiting courses, and so on, you actually unlock gear that you can actually activate. So here we've got one that gives us more explosives. It gives us 4 in total. We can deactivate that, or we can activate it. It's just something that we can do. And same with these grenades, which explode on contacts. If you want them to bounce and explode after a delay instead, you can do that too. And there's plenty more besides. So that's the actual progression system, which I don't remember there being one in Just Cause 2, but there is one here in Just Cause 3, so that's the thing that we can do. I'm just deciding at the moment if I really want to go and attack this base or not. Can at least try it. Now this missile that I have locks onto things, like so. And then away it goes. That's taking a really long time to reach the location. In fact, I think that's actually firing at a jet there. Also, did I mention that the everything that you destroy is an actual physics object? Like, it is completely 100% interactive. It's not just debris in the world. It is actually something that you can grapple onto or fling at people. In fact, one of the things I like doing is slinging it underneath a no. Well, I've broken a record there, but not exactly in the way that I wanted to. That was weird. Right, so we respawned back at the base, and for some reason it was snowing down here. And the game just decided, hang on a minute, it doesn't snow this far down the mountain. And decided to correct itself. So yeah, that place is a little bit hard to take over, so let's go find something a little bit easier. Alright, so I happen to have found a slightly smaller base. Not that much smaller, just a little bit smaller. And it has a SAM site on it, so what we're gonna do is kind of do some preparations. Just a couple of little things. Just to kind of prepare ourselves for what's about to happen. Now I don't know where that's going to land. Well, that didn't actually do what I wanted it to do, but it's fine. Hello. Reinforcements en route. So, yeah, we have this drop kick thing that we can do. I'm just gonna hack the SAM. Hopefully he doesn't hit me. We can, of course, just shoot them, but that's no fun. So, you're going over there now. I think somebody's just thrown a grenade at me. And there's a sniper up there. So there's usually one way to take care of snipers. Oh. Hi. So we're going to get rid of his cover first. And he's run away. Well, there's another way of doing that. That didn't exactly do what I wanted it to. I think... Yeah, see, towers don't hold up to that sort of stuff too well. Let's just take the SAM. So if they call in air support, we have protection. You always want protection. Protection is good. So why did that one fall apart and the others didn't? There's always a weak link, isn't there?
We've lost it. Get back to your posts.
Right, that one over there doesn't seem to want to fall down. So we're going to deal with that one directly. Let's just avoid the sniper for now. Fall down. I meant for that to happen. It was all planned. Okay, so slight issue with the recording. Long story short, Windows did something and cut the recording off. So we're gonna try a hand at blowing up a different base. This is gonna be fun. So when it comes to combat in this game, there are a lot of different options. We can, of course, simply use our little rocket launcher over here. Pick a couple of different enemies. And off we go. But that's a little bit boring, I find. Let's just get through that. So we have infinite C4. There's also a helicopter coming after me. And we have our grapple. So we have a lot of little interesting things that we can probably try and do. I'm just going to put one here. Nobody's going to notice it being there. And let's hop up here. Oh, did not mean to do that. And blow that up. Now, of course, we do have guns that we can use. Oh, didn't realize you were there. Okay, you go over there. And I'm just trying to have a look at where I'm being shot at from. So we got to deal with that helicopter. It's probably going to make a mess of us if I let it stay. Yeah, it's probably going to do something like that. Gonna hang you up there. No, I said hang you up there. There we go. Now you can stay there. Now, there's one interesting thing that the game does is that when you are low on health, it tends to highlight enemies. Gonna tether you to that. Tether the other side of you to that, and pull in. I don't think he appreciated that very much. And two enemies over there, they can hug. Let's go over there. No. Well, look, it's a big open space. I don't have somewhere high enough to hang him from. In fact, there's something we can do with you. You, over there. No. You see, you... You're coming with me. And then, of course, at any time, I can release the tethers. Don't think he appreciated that too much. Now, of course, many things we can do with the vehicles in this game. And out of the fact that Rico has a huge amount of mobility with his parachute and wingsuit, we can avoid most enemy fire. We can't avoid gravity, though. That does seem to be something that is a little bit insistent on what it does. That could be a problem. So there does appear to be a tank over there, or at least an armored car of some sort. And there's a sniper in the tower. So, I'm going to deal with the... No, there's a sniper on the ground, actually. I'm going to deal with you. And, of course, then we can take control of this. Out you go. Now, if I do have a complaint, the vehicle controls are a little bit weird. So, because this is a wheeled vehicle, you control it the same way that you do with a car. In that you have your triggers on your controller as being the main form of, Can we shoot you down? Yes, we can. As the main form of control. And the steering has a few issues. Namely, it has this weird lag on it that all of the ground vehicles seem to have. So, controlling it can be a little bit tricky. And then, of course, you use the bumper buttons to do all of the shooting. Not to mention the turret doesn't seem to have any form of stability on it, so it seems to follow the hull. So if I look here and then I turn, it seems to just follow it, which can be a bit disorientating. Enemy jet. I don't think I saw any jets or did anything to them. Gonna leave you there. Oops. So the amount of things that you can do to a base is really just kind of limited to by your creativity, really. Here's a fun one. Add these two together. Get blown up in the process. Didn't mean to do that. And pull them down. Now, of course, getting killed is simply part and parcel of it, after all. So that's a thing that happened. Jesus, this thing is huge. I know what we can do. Present for you. There we go. And blow it up. Oh god! That was nearly instant karma there. And of course we get our replenishment of rockets here. I do want to kind of blow up that a little bit. Oh, that's a lot of people. I wonder if we can get up there. I mean, we can. I know we can. What can we do from here, though? Oh, that's a target. I see. So one thing to keep in mind as well. The objects that you have to destroy on a base. We'll be fine. Listed there in the top left. So if you're ever unsure of what the actual things are, that's it. And these big bases are not repeated in any way. So every single one of these big bases, and I mean big bases, they're all different in their own way. The smaller outposts, which are kind of ones that kind of look like that, or even smaller than that, in fact. Things like these little outposts, which have these little markers, these tend to look kind of the same. Which is fine because they're tiny and you can basically clear them in a single run. Which I have done. It takes a couple of seconds in some cases. But these bigger ones, you can have a lot more fun with them. Didn't we kill this one already? I thought we did. Let's blow these up. Come on, lock onto that. No? There we go. And we'll get the Humvee. Because why not? Wait, why didn't that one die? Yeah, I have another one. That might have been a little bit overkill. So of course moving on the parachute, as I've demonstrated, is a lot slower, but you are able to fire your weapons, so you can just do this sort of death from above thing, but you are more easily hit. I'm already getting hit. But on the wingsuit it's a lot harder to get hit, so there is that. So it does pay to kind of learn how to use these. Assuming you don't crash into anything. You can see those lasers from the snipers are just following me there. Now we could stay and liberate this entire base, but that's probably going to take a little bit more time than I have right now. So we're going to move on. And I'm going to talk about the stuff in the game that I don't like. There's a lot to like about this game, there really is. But there's a lot of things to not like too. For one, the vehicle controls. So we're just... let's see if I can hijack one of these here. In fact, I might be able to... no, that's an armored car. They are kind of looking for me. This could be... oh god, what happened to it? Oh, the physics is comical at times. Okay, so they found me. This could be a problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to steal this. Come on, get it, get it, get it, get it. Go, Rico, go. No, goat! I might have just killed a goat. Right, so, driving. The controls are what you'd expect them to be, but they don't respond in the way that you would expect them. And what I mean by that is, so, accelerate and brake are the triggers on the controller. And on the keyboard anyway, I believe it's still W, A, S, and D. Sounds about right. But the steering. Now this is one of the more agile vehicles, which is about to explode, so I am going to get out and wingsuit it. But yeah, one of the more agile vehicles responds very quickly, but everything else seems to have this sort of weight behind it. I know why they've done that. It's so that each vehicle seems to have a sort of realistic weighting behind it, but it just makes it appear as though there's a steering delay. I don't know about bikes, but I know that the heavier vehicles, particularly the tanks and armored vehicles, just respond so sluggishly that most of the time when you're trying to avoid walls and stuff, you do just end up hitting them anyway. Which is not what you want, particularly if it's in the middle of a fight. So using an armored vehicle is kind of use at your own risk, until you really get the hang of it. And that's kind of sad. Even, for example, sports cars. Now, there are races in this game. We can just have a look on here. There are races that we can do. I think back on this main island. Yeah, icons like these. So these races, you get to use a vehicle of your choice, actually. And some of them you do get a sports car to use, and even that responds really sluggishly. I was quite surprised at it. That a lot of the time you're fighting the steering more so than you're actually trying to do any sort of racing. And that's not even before you get into the drifting. So you have a handbrake that allows you to drift, and trying to control that is a pain in the arse. Simply because of just how sluggishly the steering responds. I'm just going to try and lose this heat a little bit. I don't think they can follow me here. Yep, they've lost visual. So that's the main issue with using vehicles in this game. Not to mention that there isn't a hell of a lot of point to it, because using helicopters means you get shot down by SAMs. Using jets, same problem, the SAMs will catch you. The most you get out of it is transport and maybe one use. What the hell is chasing me? There might be a boat chasing me. And then the helicopter's just going to get shot down, really. So you get one run at it, and if you fail to take out the SAM sites, you're probably going to have to jump out. Oh, I might be able to actually take that boat. Come here, you. No, let me, no, no. Oh, wrong weapon. Wrong weapon. It's my boat now. So, as I was saying before I was interrupted by someone trying to kill me, the vehicle controls just... And in fact, the use of vehicles in this game is kind of limited, I find. It's either a one-use thing, or you use it for transport, or sometimes just use it as a giant suicide bomb, really. They seem to just not really be as fun to use as just trying to do it all yourself, really. And that's kind of sad, because it's not like this game has a limited supply of vehicles. They have a lot. I mean, this gunboat that I'm on right now, or patrol boat that I'm on, it's one of the few boats that are in this game, and then there are helicopters and jets and all sorts of cars and armored vehicles. There are a lot of them. In fact, if we have a look at the Rebel drop right now, just go to the vehicles. These are all the different classes of vehicles that are available in the game, and all of these can be called in. There are just loads and loads of them, and there isn't much incentive to really use them. At least not from what I've played, and I've put in several hours into this game already. Now, I guess it's not such a big deal, because on foot anyway, if you go and attack an outpost such as that one over there, you really have a lot of options just playing as Rico without using any vehicles. I mean, the grapples alone are a hell of a lot of fun, but you have your C4, you have your rockets, you've got your guns, if you just want to shoot people. And as I've said before, that was entirely planned. As I've said before, the number of things you can do are limited only by your imagination. And as I say that, that's probably a double-edged sword for a lot of people, because the game itself can get very repetitive. And it's the same problem with a lot of open world games. There are random encounters that do break up that monotony, so if you're traveling around, you do find sort of Red Dead Redemption style random encounters that you can go and complete if you so choose, which can help break up the monotony somewhat. And the fact that each base is going to be subtly different. But the simple fact remains that it's a simple case of going to each settlement, blowing up a bunch of things, and moving on to the next one. And unless you're a very creative person, that's going to get very repetitive very quickly. Now, I've had a lot of fun with it simply because I've always been actively looking for new things to do. And that's the way I play. But that's no guarantee that every other person will play it the same way, and I can see that that can wind up being very repetitive for people. At least I can say, though, as far as open world goes, this is done really, really well, though. So you can get several hours into the game before you start noticing anything being repeated, or at least things being overdone. As far as the story goes, the writing is typically over the top, a lot of action in it. Not really much to fault it with that. So, overall, still a very solid game, and it runs at a very decent frame rate. Like, I'm rarely dropping below 60. You do notice it a little bit more because I'm recording at the moment, but rarely does it actually drop below 60 unless there's really a lot happening on the screen. And that's in a game that has the draw distance that this does. I mean, just looking at it, it's not a bad looking game either. It's really, really pretty. I'm doing the best job of showing it off. It's very, very pretty and has just that amazing draw distance. You can see all the way over to that island over there, and even further if you're on top of a mountain like that one up there, without any loss in frame rate. So if you're running on a machine, even a machine that's a couple of years old, you should still get decent performance out of it. You can lower the settings. I'm running this on high at the moment, and it's still running really well on a single 970 and a really old i7. and it still runs really well. So performance-wise, it's really good, which a lot of open world games aren't. So on that front alone, it's very surprising. But overall, would I recommend this? At its current price, I mean, it's a full retail $60 title. And be warned that there is a special edition which includes 3 DLC packs which are coming next year. So you're basically pre-purchasing DLC. That is a bit of a red flag for me. Selling DLC that's not ready yet. In fact, pre-ordering on its own is a little bit sketch to me anyway. But when you're talking about DLC itself, I don't know if that's something I would be so keen on, but hey, that's coming next year anyway, so, unless of course you're watching this in 2016, in which case it's out already and you probably know more about it than I do. But yeah, that's Just Cause 3, everyone. There's a lot to love. It's very well done as an open world game, so I'm sure there's something in it for everybody. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Panzer taking a look at Just Cause 3, now available on Steam, GMG, or even direct retail at the moment for $60 or your regional equivalent currency. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, the underwater doesn't look bad either.